5 close calls when the Cold War almost became hot. 1. A U-2 spy plane almost resulted in World War III. This incident took place during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Tensions were already high. The U-2 in question was en route to the North Pole. The pilot, Charles Maltzby, drifted off course. He accidentally crossed into Soviet airspace. The Soviets scrambled MiG interceptors. They were certain it was a nuclear bomber. Maltzby ran out of fuel. He managed to glide out of the danger zone at the last moment. JFK personally called Khrushchev to reassure him. This became a plot point in Dr. Strangelove 2 years later. 2. A NORAD glitch almost destroyed the world. At 3 a.m. on November 9, 1979, NORAD screens lit up. They reported an unthinkable threat. Thousands of nuclear missiles had been launched from Soviet submarines. The Strategic Air Command was put on alert. 10 aircraft were waiting for the signal to take off. Thankfully, 6 minutes later satellites gave the all-clear. It all happened because of a human mistake. A technician had inserted a training tape into a computer. The tape was a nuclear attack simulation. 3. A Soviet submariner saved the world. This was another accident from the days of the Cuban Missile Crisis. U.S. warships detected the Soviet submarine B-59. It was passing through the quarantine zone. USS Beale began dropping depth charges to make it surface, but the Soviets mistook them for explosions. The submarine couldn't contact Moscow. The commander feared that war had begun. He gave the order to arm nuclear-tipped torpedoes, but Vasily Arkhipov, second in command, refused to authorize it. The submarine surfaced without incident. 4. A 1983 war game almost turned real. NATO carried out its largest command post exercise in 1983. Able Archer 83 simulated a Soviet attack on Europe. The U.S. sent troops to Europe to take part. Western leaders practiced sheltering in bunkers. For the Soviets, it was a clear sign of a nuclear attack being prepared. They put their own nuclear forces on high alert. Jets were prepared in Poland and East Germany. Luckily, the exercise ended with no provocation. 5. The moon rise that almost killed the world. This incident sounds especially ridiculous in retrospect, but it was probably the first time the world stood on the brink. It happened in 1960, when technology was a lot less sophisticated. On October 5th, a new early warning radar sent an alert. The radar station was US operated but located at Thule. This was a major Arctic military base in Greenland. It was built specifically to detect Soviet missile launches early on. That day, the radar detected dozens of missiles. Interestingly, Premier Khrushchev was in New York that day. This made a Soviet attack on America unlikely. In fact, the radar had mistaken the rising moon for missiles.